Parliament today in dismay, disbelief, and in sadness. The majority in the legislature is positioning to impose their own party preferences.
They think they're better than everybody in this state that works a blue-collar job.
Only in West Virginia can we 9 months ago discover improprieties and possible corruption found in the Supreme Court, and then orchestrate a scheme by this body to replace corruption with more corruption.
Effective yesterday, August the 13th, I retired as a justice of the West Virginia Supreme Court of Appeals.
Holding the powerful accountable. Eyewitness News starts right now with special coverage of the West Virginia Supreme Court impeachment proceedings.
And it is a Supreme Court story that keeps changing by the minute. Breaking late this afternoon, Justice Alan Lawfrey facing 2 new charges of wire fraud in a second superseding federal indictment. This brings the total number of charges he faces up to 25. He will now have to reappear before a judge, make another plea, and a new trial date will most likely be set. Of course, right now he's set to stand trial in October, facing more than 400 years in prison if convicted on all counts. He's accused of fraud, witness tampering, and lying to the FBI.
And earlier today, just hours after her impeachment by the House of Delegates, West Virginia Supreme Court Justice Robin Davis stepping down. Davis at the State House, where she announced with fiery defiance that she was retiring and would let the people decide who should take her seat.
I feel profound grief for the state of West Virginia, given the current state of affairs.
All of this following a historic vote by members of the House of Delegates yesterday to impeach all 4 remaining justices. This really started right here, though, after an I-team investigation into lavish office spending at the state's highest court.
And now everything moves to the Senate for a trial where a 2/3 majority will be needed to convict and officially remove those justices from office. We are working this from every angle for you. Bob Aaron at the Capitol with what now happens with those empty seats. And Kenny Bass is stationed outside of the Supreme Court's Capitol building chambers, where today one of the justices implicated made a not-so-surprise announcement, Kenny. Some say maybe she saw the writing on the wall. Others say maybe she got a little nudge from the powers that be within her own party.
Rick, it was rumored here as a possibility for several weeks, and it finally became reality today when longtime State Supreme Court Justice Robin Davis announced her retirement. And on her way out the door, she issued a blistering parting shot at the majority Republicans in the House of Delegates. Just hours after the West Virginia House of Delegates voted to impeach her and the 3 remaining justices on the West Virginia Supreme Court, Robin Davis said she is hanging up her robe.
I feel profound grief for the state of West Virginia, given the current state of affairs. What we are witnessing is a disaster for the rule of law, the foundation of our state, and indeed our own society.
Davis leveled withering criticism at the House of Delegates, which voted to approve 11 articles of impeachment against her and Justices Alan Lawfrey, Margaret Workman, and Beth Walker.
For when a legislative body attempts to dismantle a separate branch of government, the immediate effects, as well as the precedent it sets for the future, can only be deemed disastrous.
The timing of Davis's retirement ensures that West Virginia voters will elect the justice who takes her place. Had she made her retirement effective just 2 days later, the task of filling her spot on the bench would have fallen to Governor Jim Justice.
Now, the citizens, and let me repeat that, the citizens of West Virginia will be afforded their constitutional right to elect my successor in November.
Governor Justice says he has received Justice Davis's retirement letter and has begun the process of selecting a replacement who will serve on the bench until voters can elect a successor to Justice Davis when the ballot opens in November. Reporting live at the state capitol, just outside of the Supreme Court chambers in the East Wing, Kenny Bass, Eyewitness News.
Kenny, thanks. So what's next to replace the two justices who have now retired? Eyewitness News reporter Bob Aaron is live at the Capitol tonight with how the long and short-term fix is going to work. Bob?
Now, when Robin Davis announced her retirement today, she was preceded in that retirement by Justice Menace Ketchum, and their elected replacements will be determined in separate races, but it looks like their interim replacement will be determined in a combined process. Now, when Davis walked in to announce her retirement and anger with the legislature today, Secretary of State Mac Warner was in the courtroom packed with Supreme Court staffers. His office points out that Davis, who has a 6-year term, will be in a separate division from Menace Ketchum, who had only 2 years left on the job when he pulled the plug. Anyone who wants to run must file before midnight on August the 21st. Right now, we still don't know everybody who's running.
As of right now, all those things are at an impasse because we have to see who will be the official certified candidates, who will be placed on the ballot, and so it's definitely pushing all of the boundaries to basically the very last minute.
Now, their current election will run concurrent with the November 6th general election. So while the voters will get to pick Davis and Ketchum's long-term replacement, the governor will decide who will serve until those decisions are made. The Judicial Vacancy Advisory Commission will meet on August the 23rd and 24th to come up with 2 to 5 candidates for each slot. That meeting was originally planned just to pick a replacement for Menace Ketchum. Now, traditionally, the governor has accepted someone from those recommendations, but Governor Jim Justice is not bound by that and could do something else if he wanted to. Reporting live from the Capitol, I'm Bob Aaron for Eyewitness News.
Bob, thanks. And the line is getting longer for those who want to run for the empty seats left by Justices Davis and Ketchum, with many lawyers and judges putting their names on the ballot in what promises to be a high-profile race. So far, these are the names we have confirmed that will be on the ballot in November. Attorneys Martin Sheehan, Brendan Long, and Carl Hostler, along with Kanawha Circuit Court Judge Joanna Tabbitt. Attorney Harry Bo Brunner Jr. has also filed his paperwork. Boone County Circuit Judge William Thompson and Congressman Evan Jenkins are not officially listed yet, but have both announced campaigns for the High Court. Candidates will have to clarify which seat they intend to run for, Ketchum's 2-year term or Davis's 6-year.
All right, as for the impeachment proceedings themselves, here's what's next. The Senate convenes next Monday to go over rules and procedures for that trial, but those are the only 2 items on the agenda. So far, no timetable set for when the trial itself will begin. The only time anything even close to this has happened in West Virginia history, when Treasurer A. James Manchin was impeached back in the 80s. The Senate trial began about 6 weeks after the House impeachment, so this could still take quite a while. The next session for the Supreme Court is set to start September 5th. So what does all of this mean for taxpayers and voters? Still to come here on Eyewitness News at 5:30. We speak with people in the community who weigh in on what's happened at the Capitol. And despite the cloud of controversy hovering over the Capitol in Charleston, the sun was able to make an appearance. This was the scene in Huntington today. And as we send it over to meteorologist Doug Harlow, a lot of people are hoping for more of this as we progress through the work week. Doug?
Well, we're definitely going to hold on to the sunshine here for the rest of this evening. Much calmer than it was around here 24 hours ago, especially around the Charleston area where we're getting those persistent downpours. Just been some very isolated showers for today and just a couple sprinkles down around the Pikeville area. You folks have seen a couple drops, literally just a couple, and even those are fading away. So for all intents and purposes, it is dry for the rest of this evening. 84 in Charleston, 86 in Huntington. And we'll see temperatures falling back through the 70s by 9 o'clock. Watch for some fog again overnight. We saw some of that this morning. We'll see some of that again on Wednesday morning, and then we'll get some more sunshine out tomorrow. But by this time tomorrow, we'll be tracking at least a few scattered showers and storms, and a lot more by Thursday. I'll have a complete check of an active forecast ahead in just a bit.
The Kanawha County school system has a mold issue, and right now they're racing against time trying to tackle the problem before students go back to class.
Yeah, mold was found in 11 schools across Kanawha County. Eyewitness News reporter Jesse Starkey found out what the process is to get this cleaned up before school starts.
Whitney, it's a situation that has families across our area understandably concerned. It's not the first time mold had to be cleaned out of Kanawha County schools. It's something school officials say they've dealt with every year in one way or another. They say this year the mold has actually improved compared to recent years. When asked why this problem keeps happening, school officials say it's a combination of a few different things. Some schools have aging heating and cooling systems that are due for updates. They're hoping the upcoming excess levy will pass to replace those systems that could be a huge help with this problem. Other causes are high amounts of rain and humidity we've experienced over this summer. Also, items like paper, carpet, curtains, often found in classrooms, increase the likelihood of mold growing. We spoke with lead nurse Brenda Isaac about the health concerns surrounding this. She says they are staying on top of this right now, and they hope it doesn't affect the start of school.
If kids start to get some allergic type symptoms, or teachers start to get allergic type symptoms, then they need to alert us. We would probably have them go talk to their health care provider. And of course, we can always get more air quality studies done if we need to.
Every person reacts differently to mold. Some may be bothered, while others may have a more severe reaction. School nurses are right now working with families and students to answer any questions they may have about this problem. Coming up, cleaning crews are working to get all of the mold out of the school buildings. I'll have more on what school officials are doing coming up at 6. In the studio, Jesse Starkey, Eyewitness News.
Coming up, controversy swirls around Florida's infamous Stand Your Ground law, with a stunning reversal now gaining national attention. The man who shot and killed a father of 3 outside of a convenience store last month appeared in court for the first time today. ABC's Emily Rao has the update.
48-year-old Michael Draka booked on first-degree manslaughter charges Monday and appearing by video conference in a Florida courtroom on Tuesday. Before this week, Draka a free man after shooting and killing Marquise McLaughlin on July 19th. Surveillance video shows the deadly encounter outside a convenience store. Draka approached McLaughlin's girlfriend, who was parked in a handicap spot. When McLaughlin returns, he shoves Draka to the ground. As he appears to step back, Draka reaches for his gun and opens fire. The father of 3 then stumbling back into the store, dying as his 5-year-old tries to help.
It's a memory that's always going to be with my 5-year-old. My 3 kids will be without a father.
Court documents reveal Draka told detectives he fired in self-defense after McLaughlin made a, quote, twitch toward him. Also telling investigators he was more than 10 feet away when he pulled the trigger.
Under these circumstances, we cannot make an arrest.
The sheriff deciding last month to not arrest Draka because the case could fall under the Stand Your Ground law, but now saying he supports the decision to file charges. McLaughlin's family saying Tuesday,
once again, this is just only step 1. We still got a long way to go, but we're here to fight to the end.
And another new detail from the arrest warrant. It says 3 months before Draka shot McLaughlin, he got into another confrontation with a truck driver who parked illegally in a handicapped spot. Emily Rao, ABC News, New York.
Now at 5, a sigh of relief as 200 rafters have been found safe in Pennsylvania. The group, which was made up of 12 to 16-year-old girls from a church group in New York, disappeared yesterday on the Lehigh River during a rafting trip. Crews were able to pull 46 of them from the river, and even more were found clinging to trees along the river banks. The area was under a flood watch at the time. At least one of the girls had to go to the hospital, but everyone is expected to be okay.
And they've had tremendous rain over that part of the country in eastern Pennsylvania here, all up and down I-81, 5 to 10 inches of rain over the last 48 hours, including a lot of flash flooding around the Philadelphia area, Williamsport, Scranton, and Wilkes-Barre. And they're still getting hammered right now underneath of that closed low-pressure system that yesterday was centered over Pittsburgh. And that's why we were on the western fringes and getting showers and storms here. But that thing shifted further east today, and as a result, we enjoyed much better weather around here. Now, there's still some influences from that system up in northeastern Pennsylvania and northeastern parts of West Virginia. We've got a couple showers drifting by near Morgantown down toward Elkins. But around here, pretty much high and dry. There's just those sprinkles down around Pike County. Those will fade pretty quickly. Otherwise, high pressure is in control, but not for long. Our next system is already taking shape back around the Missouri Valley, a low-pressure system. You can see that big counterclockwise swirl. That's heading in our direction. and it's going to reach us by late tomorrow. We'll start to see the effects of it here with some scattered showers and storms. But right now, it's warm and it's dry. 84 in Charleston, 86 in Huntington. A sneak preview to tomorrow's temperatures out here in the tri-states, already 88 in Portsmouth and Ashland. I think we'll be knocking on the door of 90 for tomorrow. But fortunately, the humidity is really not bad. We've got dew points in the lower 60s. Normally, that gets just kind of a so-so face. But you know what? Lower 60s in August after what we've endured. I'll give it the big smiley face here. So it sets us up for a very nice evening. Watch out for some areas of fog overnight. We'll drop back to about 63 degrees here, and we'll wake up tomorrow morning with quiet weather. First part of tomorrow's fine. We'll pick up where we left off today with sunshine and getting up into the lower 80s here by noon. But already by mid-afternoon, folks west of Huntington here, Scioto Valley, down near Vanceburg, West Liberty, a scattered shower or storm. These will move pretty quickly here. They won't linger. But again, a quick hitting shower or storm is possible, and that's around 3 o'clock in the afternoon when some of the kids are coming home from school. By dinner time, that's reaching the Huntington area right up near the Ohio River. Still dry in Charleston at 6, but shortly thereafter, a very weakening band of showers will try to track into the Kanawha Valley. That kind of falls apart. But then here comes another round. So toward midnight, a couple more showers here. So these are fairly quick hitting. Again, they'll have some movement, but we'll have more of those into Thursday morning as that system draws closer. And Thursday morning could be rather bumpy here west of the Ohio River with widespread showers and storms, and those will eventually spill into West Virginia in the afternoon. Some of those storms on Thursday could have some strong gusty winds along with some downpours. Now, I think we might get a break in between systems Friday. Problem is, there may be a pretty hefty system coming in Saturday. Looks like some widespread rain is likely. Saturday's going to be cloudy and wet, no doubt about that. The question is, how heavy will the rain be? There's some question marks, which we'll talk about coming up in just a bit. I still think Sunday is by far a better day than Saturday, with just an isolated rain chance, but mainly dry conditions.
Still to come as President Trump prepares to make a return to West Virginia, there's still no sign of where a man threatening to kill the president may be hiding out. That's next. You're watching Eyewitness News at 5.
Just 1 week before President Donald Trump is set to rally in Charleston at the Civic Center, U.S. Marshals are continuing to look for a man they've deemed a credible threat to the president, a man who's believed to have been in our area. This is Sean Christie. Investigators say he's considered armed and dangerous and has made threats to kill President Trump and to shoot any officers who try to arrest him. He's also accused of breaking into a man's home in Adair County, Kentucky last week, whose brother is a Medal of Honor recipient who just announced his divorce from the daughter of former vice presidential candidate Sarah Palin. Christie is accused of stealing a 2001 Jeep Cherokee mail truck from that home. Here's a picture of that vehicle. It was last seen heading east on I-64 in West Virginia on Thursday afternoon. Just one of several vehicles police believe Christie has stolen in the last several weeks since he was last seen before this all began in Pennsylvania. If you have any information on where Sean Christie might be hiding out, call 911 immediately. By the way, tickets are now available for President Donald Trump's Make America Great Again rally in Charleston next week. For those who would like to attend, go to donaldjtrump.com or head to our website and look for the link, WCHSTV.com. Again, that rally, in which he will also be stumping for Patrick Morrissey, is set for Tuesday, August 21st at the Charleston Civic Center. Doors open at 4. The rally itself begins at 7.
A new health center opened its doors at West Virginia State University today, but it's not just for students, it's also open to the community. A ribbon cutting was held for the grand opening of the facility on campus. The health center will be available to students, faculty, and staff and the local community. They offer a full range of health services from dental, mental, and family health care to addiction services. Today, people were able to take a tour and receive information about healthcare services.
What's great about family care is we can take everybody. We take everybody regardless of ability to pay, and people pay based on their income level.
You can find the center on campus there at the Student Union.
Back to school and back to an earlier bedtime. How much sleep those little ones should be getting, and some ways to gradually get your kids used to it before the school year begins.
Summer is wrapping up and kids are getting ready to go back to school.
Tonight, Eyewitness News anchor Dave Benton takes a look at how one mother is getting her girls ready for the first day of class.
Everybody, I'm going to get dinner, so please take a seat at the table. Okay.
It's been a fun summer for Joey Tatum and Berkeley Arbus, and with school just around the corner, their routine is quickly changing.
We go to bed at 8 o'clock, and our mom makes us because she wants us to be well rested so we're not tired in the morning. Yeah, and at school.
And that's what doctors recommend. Dr. Jamie Jeffrey is the medical director for the Healthy Kid Wellness Program at CAMC and says prepping kids days in advance with an early bedtime schedule can make a huge difference.
Their brain needs sleep. So for them to be able to concentrate and do their best academically in school, they need sleep. It's one of the most important things for a well-balanced, healthy child.
They always wake up before me. And he's a sleepy bone. And he always wakes me up when he always...
It's very important to start like a couple weeks ahead of time.
Beth Arbus, mother of 3 girls and a newborn son, says her routine changes as well.
For me, I just set my alarm clock back like an hour early, starting a week or 2 ahead of time, and make sure I have my coffee ready for right when I wake up, and because it's an adjustment for me too to get them all out the door with their lunches packed. So I think just starting the routine a couple weeks early.
Arbus says for her, it helps to pick a specific bedtime and stick to it.
You know, early bedtime is definitely important because they have there's a time frame of adjustment when they first start back, and if they're not getting enough rest, then they have a lot of trouble getting back in the swing of things.
It's an end of summer change of pace for these little girls before they head back to school.
And I always pack my lunch. I pack brownies, Greek, and smoothies.
In Huntington, Dave Benton, Eyewitness News.
Eyewitness accounts, pictures, and testimony. None of it was enough to convince a judge to keep the 5 people living in a New Mexico compound in jail, where 11 malnourished kids were found and had been training to shoot guns. More on this story coming up at 5:30.
And we continue our coverage of the West Virginia Supreme Court impeachment proceedings. What everyone out there has to say about what's going on at the Capitol.